The boxing world just erupted in controversy, and it's all happening before the bell even rings. Claressa Shields, the undisputed champion, didn't hold back when Shadasia Green was suddenly suspended ahead of their highly anticipated fight. Social media exploded, fans are divided, and the tension is reaching a boiling point. This isn't just a fight story, it's a drama filled with accusations, suspensions, and public callouts that could redefine what happens inside and outside the ring. Stay with me, because what Claressa said will shock you, and the real story behind Green's suspension is far more explosive than most people realize. The boxing world is buzzing with controversy as Claressa Shields, one of the sport's most dominant champions, publicly calls out her opponent Shadasia Green, all because Green was suspended just days before their fight. Fans and analysts are scrambling to understand what led to this sudden suspension and how it will impact one of the most anticipated matchups in women's boxing. In this video, we'll break down everything you need to know, the details behind Green's suspension, Claressa's public statements, and the reactions from fans, trainers, and boxing insiders. You'll get the full context, from the official announcements to the rumors circulating online, and see why this situation has sparked heated debate across social media. By the end of this video, you'll understand not just the facts, but the deeper tensions and stakes behind this fight. Claressa Shields isn't just speaking as a champion, she's challenging the integrity, discipline, and professionalism of an opponent whose actions have drawn widespread attention. And trust me, the drama is far from over. The news broke like a lightning strike across the sports world. Shadasia Green, the rising contender set to face Claressa Shields, had been suspended just days before the highly anticipated fight. For fans, it was shocking. Suspensions in boxing are not common, especially so close to a marquee match. The timing alone sent ripples through gyms, media outlets, and social media platforms alike. Suddenly, the fight everyone had been anticipating seemed uncertain, leaving fans scrambling to understand the circumstances behind the sudden disciplinary action. According to official statements, Green's suspension was tied to violations of league protocols, though the specifics were initially vague. Rumors spread quickly, with some claiming the suspension stemmed from missed weigh-ins, alleged breaches of conduct, or even internal disputes with promoters and regulators. Fans dissected every clip, post, and tweet from both fighters, searching for clues. Boxing insiders weighed in, some defending Shields, others questioning Green's professionalism. The speculation only heightened the tension and anticipation, making the story even more explosive. Claressa Shields did not remain silent. Known for her fierce competitiveness and no-nonsense approach, Shields took to social media and press interviews to call out Green directly. Her tone was firm, pointed, and undeniably emotional, a mix of frustration, disappointment, and unyielding confidence. Shields' comments were not just about the suspension. They carried an underlying message about accountability, discipline, and what it takes to maintain excellence at the highest level of the sport. It was a reminder to fans that even elite athletes are held to strict standards, and deviations have consequences. The public reaction was immediate and divided. Some applauded Shields for speaking out, arguing that champions have a responsibility to uphold integrity in their sport. Others sympathized with Green, questioning whether the suspension was fair or timely. Social media exploded with hashtags, memes, and heated debates, making the situation feel almost larger than the fight itself. For boxing fans, this was no longer just a matchup of skill and power. It had transformed into a drama of accountability, reputation, and high stakes. But even as fans, trainers, and insiders debated the suspension, one question loomed over the entire story. What was really happening behind the scenes that led to this decision? The answer, it turns out, is more complex and more explosive than anyone could have anticipated. Claressa Shields, often hailed as one of the greatest female boxers in history, did not stay silent after the news of Shadasia Green's suspension broke. Known for her outspoken personality and unwavering confidence, Shields immediately took action, addressing the situation in interviews, social media posts, and public statements that left fans talking. Her words were sharp, deliberate, and emotionally charged. Shields made it clear that she expected accountability from all fighters in her weight class and reminded the public that professionalism extends beyond physical training. If you're going to step into the ring with me, you need to be ready mentally, physically, and professionally, she said in one statement. This wasn't just about the suspension itself, it was about the standards she sets for herself and for her opponents. Every athlete who competes at this level, Shields implied, has a responsibility to uphold the integrity of the sport. The tone of her call out was a mix of frustration and confidence. On one hand, Shields expressed disappointment that her opponent would be sidelined under circumstances that could have been avoided. On the other, she radiated a calm intensity, making it clear that the suspension did not weaken her resolve. If anything, it fueled it. I respect every fighter who's ready to go, but I also respect the sport too much to let unprofessional behavior slide, she added. Fans immediately noticed that Shields' approach was strategic. She wasn't just venting, she was sending a message to promoters, regulators, and fellow fighters that discipline matters. At the same time, her statement created suspense and speculation. Would the fight be rescheduled? Could Green appeal the suspension? And if the fight does happen, what would Shields' mindset be after such a public call out? These questions kept the audience glued to their screens, waiting for the next development. Social media reactions were instantaneous. Some praised Shields for holding her opponent accountable, claiming her response exemplified the mindset of a true champion. Others criticized the public nature of her comments, suggesting it added unnecessary pressure on Green or fueled drama before the fight. Either way, the boxing community was captivated. Every post, comment, and clip was dissected as fans tried to predict what would happen next in a saga that had quickly become bigger than the fight itself. And just when the public thought they had heard Shields' full statement, insiders hinted that there might be more behind the scenes tension, conversations, disputes, or disagreements that the video footage and public statements only hinted at. The suspense was palpable, leaving fans on the edge of their seats, eager to discover what the next chapter would reveal. To truly understand why Claressa Shields' call-out has caused such a stir, we need to look at the events that led to Shadasia Green's suspension. Green, a talented and ambitious boxer, has been on a meteoric rise, gaining attention for her skill, agility, and fearless approach in the ring. However, sources close to the fighter and her team suggest that the lead up to this fight was not without tension, disagreements, and logistical challenges. According to insiders, Green had faced several hurdles in the weeks prior to the scheduled match. These included issues related to training compliance, adherence to league protocols, and coordination with promoters. Some reports hinted at disputes over weight management, fitness requirements, and even conduct expectations leading up to the fight. While nothing officially confirmed any intentional wrongdoing, the regulatory body overseeing the match determined that action needed to be taken to ensure fairness and the integrity of the sport. This decision ultimately resulted in Green's suspension, a move that immediately raised eyebrows and fueled speculation. Fans and commentators quickly picked up on the story. Clips of training sessions, interviews, and social media activity were dissected for signs of friction between Green, her team, and the boxing authorities. Each post, comment, or video snippet was scrutinized, with viewers trying to piece together the full narrative. In many ways, the suspension shone a spotlight on the behind-the-scenes pressures that elite fighters face, pressures that fans rarely see, but which can determine whether a match proceeds or falls apart entirely. Claressa Shields, ever the competitor, responded strategically. She didn't just call out Green in a vacuum. Her comments suggested a deeper understanding of what had happened behind closed doors. By publicly addressing the suspension, Shields positioned herself not only as a fighter ready for the ring, but as a champion holding her opponent accountable for meeting the rigorous standards expected in professional boxing. This approach amplified the drama as fans debated whether Shields' words were a motivational tactic, a genuine expression of frustration, or a strategic play to unsettle Green before any potential rescheduling. Yet even with these details emerging, questions remained. What exactly triggered the suspension? How severe were the violations? Could the suspension be lifted, allowing Green back into the ring, or was this a definitive decision? And more importantly, how would this situation affect the fight's dynamics, the public perception of both athletes, and the emotional stakes for fans worldwide? The answers to these questions promise to shape the next chapter in this rapidly unfolding story. A chapter filled with tension, drama, and the kind of high-stakes anticipation only the world of professional boxing can produce. This fight between Claressa Shields and Shadasia Green was more than just another bout on the calendar. It had been hyped for months as a clash of skill, power, and sheer determination. A matchup fans described as a potential turning point in women's boxing. Shields, a seasoned and celebrated champion, was expected to assert her dominance, while Green, a rising star, carried the hopes of proving herself against one of the sport's all-time greats. The sudden suspension didn't just disrupt schedules, it disrupted a narrative that had been building anticipation, hype, and emotional investment from fans worldwide. The stakes could not have been higher. Claressa Shields, known for her precision, mental toughness, and aggressive style, was preparing for a fight that demanded both physical and psychological readiness. The postponement and the public call-out of her opponent introduced a new dimension: tension, uncertainty, and a test of patience. For Shields, the suspension wasn't just about competition, it was about maintaining focus, discipline, and readiness in the face of unexpected adversity. Every day of delay added pressure, but it also fueled her determination to dominate when the fight finally occurs. Meanwhile, Shadasia Green's suspension added an entirely different layer of drama. For her team, it was a moment of intense scrutiny, internal reflection, and rapid response planning. The public nature of the suspension, combined with Shields' pointed remarks, made this a story of reputations as much as of athletic performance. Fans speculated endlessly. Would Green bounce back stronger, more determined, or would the pressure and criticism impact her training and mindset? Each scenario carried profound implications for the fight, the careers of both athletes, and the broader perception of women's boxing. Social media amplified every moment. Clips of Shields' statements, screenshots of fan reactions, and speculation from boxing analysts flooded timelines and feeds. Hashtags trended, conversations ignited, and debates raged about fairness, professionalism, and the mental game required at this elite level. For casual observers, it was entertainment. For committed fans, it was a study in resilience, strategy, and the psychology of champions. And yet, the most intense question loomed over the boxing world. How would this disruption, this suspension, and public call out ultimately shape the fight when it eventually happens? Would Shields use the controversy as fuel to cement her dominance, or could Green harness the tension, the scrutiny, and the criticism to mount an unexpected comeback? The answers to these questions promise to define not only the fight itself, but the legacies of both fighters. But as fans awaited clarity, another twist was emerging behind the scenes. Whispers of training setbacks, strategy adjustments, and private negotiations between promoters that hinted at even more drama yet to be revealed. The story, it seemed, was far from over, and the boxing world braced for what could become a defining moment in women's sport. The suspension of Shadasia Green and Claressa Shields' public call-out didn't just stir the boxing world, it ignited a firestorm across social media. Fans from around the globe poured in their opinions, emotions, and predictions, creating a digital battleground that mirrored the intensity of the fight that may or may not take place. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok feeds were filled with heated debates, memes, video clips, and analysis from both casual viewers and seasoned boxing commentators. Some fans sided firmly with Claressa Shields, praising her for speaking out and holding her opponent accountable. Champions aren't just measured by what they do in the ring, but how they handle professionalism outside of it, one user tweeted. Others sympathized with Shadasia Green, questioning whether the suspension was fair, timely, or even necessary. This polarization highlighted the stakes beyond the boxing ring, the reputations, pride, and emotional investment of athletes and fans alike. YouTube channels, podcasts, and sports blogs quickly jumped on the controversy, dissecting every statement Shields had made and every detail of Green's suspension. Analysts speculated on potential outcomes. Would the fight be rescheduled? Could Green appeal? Would Claressa's mental preparation be affected by the unexpected drama? Fans were left on edge, and every minor update became headline news in the boxing community. Beyond opinions and speculation, there was an emotional dimension that cannot be ignored. Young fans, aspiring fighters, and members of the women's sports community saw this situation as a lesson in discipline, accountability, and the pressures of competing at the highest level. Shields forthrightness inspired admiration, while Green's suspension became a cautionary tale about the importance of compliance and professionalism. The stakes extended far beyond personal pride. They spoke to integrity in the sport itself. But the drama didn't stop with online chatter. Behind closed doors, insiders hinted at additional tensions that fans couldn't see. Trainers, promoters, and officials were reportedly engaged in rapid discussions to determine the next steps, balancing safety, legality, and public perception. Some sources even suggested that negotiations were taking place about potential fines, penalties, or conditional reinstatement, all while Shields maintained her public stance of readiness and discipline. And just when the world thought the controversy had reached its peak, a new development surfaced, a private comment from Green's camp that hinted at an unexpected twist. The public had yet to see this message, but insiders claimed it could completely alter the narrative, leaving fans wondering who truly holds the upper hand in this unfolding saga. The suspense was electric, and everyone watching realized that the fight, whether it happens soon or later, will carry a legacy shaped as much by drama and preparation as by punches and skill. While fans were debating the suspension online and analysts dissected every word Claressa Shields had said, both fighters were navigating the intense pressures behind the scenes, pressures that few outside the boxing world fully understand. Preparing for a high stakes fight is never just physical, it's a mental, emotional, and strategic endeavor. And when a sudden suspension occurs, it throws that entire preparation into chaos. Claressa Shields, known for her meticulous training regimen, had been focused for months on this fight. Every workout, sparring session, and dietary choice had been aligned with a specific strategy designed to dominate Green. But the suspension introduced a new dynamic, uncertainty. Shields coaches had to adjust timelines, recalibrate sparring schedules, and manage the psychological impact of a fight postponed under controversial circumstances. For Shields, maintaining focus became a test of discipline, patience, and mental toughness. Meanwhile, Shadasia Green faced an entirely different set of challenges. The suspension not only disrupted her physical preparation, but also introduced emotional and reputational stress. According to sources close to her camp, Green spent hours in reflection, assessing what went wrong and how to regain momentum. Trainers worked tirelessly to keep her in fighting shape, but the suspension created a cloud of doubt and scrutiny that no athlete wants before a major bout. Every decision she made, from training intensity to public messaging, was now magnified under a microscope. The drama extended beyond the gym. Promoters, regulatory bodies, and publicists were engaged in fast-moving negotiations and discussions. Decisions about fines, reinstatement conditions, and potential rescheduling had to be weighed carefully, balancing the integrity of the sport with the public perception and the expectations of fans and sponsors. Every minor detail mattered, from media statements to social media posts, because the narrative itself could influence how the fight is remembered, regardless of the outcome in the ring. For viewers, these behind the scenes pressures added a layer of suspense and intrigue. It wasn't just about who could throw the hardest punch or land the perfect combination. It was about resilience, mental fortitude, and the ability to navigate unexpected adversity while remaining a champion. The story became as much about preparation psychology, and strategy as it was about boxing skill. And just when it seemed that Shields had full control over the narrative, rumors surfaced about potential internal conflicts within Green's camp. Some insiders hinted at disagreements over training methods, while others suggested that strategy disputes could affect her ability to fully rebound once reinstated. This revelation created a cliffhanger that left fans speculating. Could Green overcome these obstacles, or had the suspension and behind the scenes tension already shifted the fight's balance in Shields' favor? The stage was now set for a dramatic showdown, not just in the ring, but in the story that had captivated fans worldwide. Every punch, every decision, and every public statement had the potential to rewrite the narrative, making this fight a symbol of skill, strategy, and the high stakes of elite competition.